Hi, printmakers. So you will need a couple things for the transfer. I have a big book, which you'll need because you need to put it underneath to push when we go onto the screen. You'll have your screen, which I have on the floor here. You'll need like a credit card or ID and something with like a round edge. A Sharpie's really good, or something else that's like plastic and round that you can push really hard with. You'll need your cutting board, and then you'll need your actual design as well as your clear coat. So I'm going to show you from start to finish how to transfer this image onto the actual screen now. So first thing that you need to do is you need to pull the clear away from this white backing. The white backing paper will actually get discarded. So when you pull the clear off, you can just throw it on the ground and try to keep the clear from sticking to itself. So I'm going to pull the clear off of the white backing, and then I'm going to pick it up and change it into the form of a taco. So what I mean by that is I have now kind of folded it in half with the sticky side out, and then I'm gonna lay it down as smoothly as I can on my drawing, and you can see it sticking to itself a little bit, there we go. And then kind of push, as long as it covers your image, it doesn't really matter if it goes on straight or not. That part does not matter at all. So you're gonna push it down. Now with the credit card, I'm going to really squeegee and kind of push as hard as I can. You can hear it kind of popping those bubbles. As I'm pushing out, I'm trying to get rid of any of those air pockets that are on the yellow so that the clear sticks very well to the yellow. So I would start by kind of doing that across the entire surface wherever you have image. And you'll just hear those bubbles popping all the way around the image, paying particular attention to the edges of the image because that's the part that needs to pull off and transfer really well. Then, once you feel like you've gotten a really flat connection, you then want to use some kind of rounded tip edge, and this is where you're going to burnish, B-U-R-N-I-S-H, burnish. And all I'm doing is pushing as hard as I can to really get the clear material to stick to the yellow. I actually can see a slight color change, which I'm sure isn't visible on the actual video, but I can see it from the angle of my lamp that I'm getting a tiny bit more adhering where that is. You can even hear some of those bubbles are popping. I'm paying really good attention to those little floaters. Those floaters are the troublesome things when we go to transfer. We want those to stay super stuck to the clear as much as possible all the way around. This could take you about a half an hour if you do it well. Just really pay attention to that burnishing. Do it across the entire surface so there's no air bubbles at all. If you have to pull the clear back up a little bit, you can do that. That's okay. You can pull it up and then kind of push it back down to get those air bubbles out. But the more you do that, the more likely to pull up some of your image. So just be aware of that as you push and smooth it out as best you can. I'm going to burnish, and then I'll come back to you to show you the next step. One of the things I did forget to say is to make sure your cutting board is underneath there when you're burnishing. When you're putting the clear down, it's not as important, but just make sure that it is underneath there. So my blue cutting board, or whatever color yours is, gray or black, just make sure it is under there so you have something really hard to push onto, because the foam core has enough of a give that you might not get the connection with the burnishing as you need. Okay, now I have burnished the entire surface really well. I can tell that it's really adhered. It's not coming up. I'm going to now remove the cutting board completely. I'm also going to remove the actual yellow from the backing foam core so you can untape it and just kind of lay the foam core aside. I also have gotten my screen, which I'll show you how to open properly, so the foam core can get laid aside. So now this is just the yellow paper with the white backing. Keep that credit card or ID nearby and your Sharpie for the next step. Then to open up your screen, just kind of pop your fingernail into the corner where the plastic is, kind of remove the plastic completely. Just don't puncture the screen, that's not a good thing. And then discard that little plastic wrap. So now my screen has like an inside section and an outside section. So this is where the seam is fit. There's like a little cord that stretches the silk into the actual frame. This is replaceable, by the way, if you ever continue doing silk screen. So I've got two sides. What I need to do is take that book that I mentioned. I'm going to lay the book down on my work surface. So there's the book. Then I'm going to lay my screen on top of that. So now see the cord outline is around and invisible. So it's kind of inside of the screen. That's really important. Now, this is the step that I don't want you to freak out about. Just take your time with it. And if something goes wrong, just ask me for help because I can always help you with this process. You're going to lay it down so the white is facing up. I'm then going to peel like so. And this is when you get to see how well you burnish. So now, as I pull away, I'm just going to kind of pull from all different directions and see how well I burnish. Now, there will be things that stay stuck. If you burnished well, then the white pulls away clearly. If the white doesn't pull away, push it back down, burnish it from the back again, really make sure you're getting it to adhere, and then pull it up again. You also can have your X-Acto knife nearby, and if you need to, you can just kind of peel the yellow and push it down onto the clear. The clear is holding everything together right now. So I burnished really, really well on all my surfaces. So I'm pulling this white away. You'll notice kind of the little cut lines and stuff in there, which happens. And there we go. So I've pulled it away cleanly. And now that white paper is garbage. This is the sticky side. See, it's sticking to my finger. I'm now going to flip it over. And it's still going to be backwards. That's what you want. You need it to be backwards. And I'm going to place it right in the middle on top of that book. And now with my hands, I'm going to push outward. That's important. You're, again, trying to get rid of any bubbles or anything that might be created from you laying it down. This is where you push again with your credit card. Every time you push, make sure the book is underneath so you're never pushing on the screen without something underneath it. So notice I'm kind of moving it over top of the book so the book is always the hard part underneath and the screen isn't being stretched. If you push in this area, you don't have any resistance. You need the book to be there to push really, really well. Then you're going to push the sticker onto the wood all the way around. All the way around. Get it to adhere really well. Don't worry if there's a few little bubbles in the clear. We're going to get rid of that here in just a minute. So I'm just going to, once again, really push with that credit card. Smooth it out super well. And now I'm ready to actually remove the clear. The clear is going to be gone now. So I'm going to do the same approach that I did before where I'm pulling the backing paper off. This is now the clear. This clear is going to be garbage. This is where you see how well you burnished. Once again, with the credit card, this process doesn't take as long because it sticks really well to the screen. Pull it really slowly. Notice I'm just kind of guiding it from the corner and I'm pulling up. If anything lifts that you don't want, lay it back down and then just keep pulling and removing. Notice my yellow is staying adhered to the screen. I lost one little teeny bit right there, so I'm going to push that back down. I got it. Push that one back down with my finger there. Nope, it doesn't want to stay. There we go. Oh, got it. Okay, got it to stay. So just kind of guiding. That's why you just pay attention. Keep watching every little edge. The more you cut, the more it's going to want to lift up. That's why you just take your time. And I'm just pulling very slowly. I've got a couple little guys there that want to pull up. So I'm just going to guide them a little bit. I'm going to put my credit card under here, my ID, push those down again. Those are little edges. Sometimes if I come at it at a different angle, it doesn't pull up the same way. And I'm almost to the edge. And then this clear stuff can get thrown away. You do not need the clear anymore. The clear will get discarded. It was only to transfer. I've got a couple little ones here at the end that are giving me a little trouble. So I'm just taking my time to get those to transfer. I'll be right back with you once I fix this. Okay, there's my clear. It's garbage. You can toss it away. Now I'm ready to prep my screen. You should be able to see a completely smooth connection to the screen. I'm going to remove the book now, unless I need to push it. And now I'm ready to just wrap the tape or this sticker yellow around the outside. It kind of feels like tape. So I'm going to go from the top. Then I'm going to wrap the bottom one, make sure that it goes around really well because any ink can leak through this area. Remove any miscellaneous tape you might have from when you adhered your drawing down or your clear stuff. And then right here, I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to tear it at the corner, kind of like I'm wrapping a present. And then I'm going to wrap that really tightly around, kind of hugging it with my hands so I'm getting as many of the bubbles out as possible. There will be bubbling along the cord area, and that's okay because, again, there's a little bit of a gap of air there, so there's going to be naturally a bubble. Get rid of any miscellaneous tape, kind of adhere it around. This edge doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to capture the edge of the wood. And if for any reason you have an area of your screen that is open, you can just put tape on it. It'll block it out just like the yellow. Okay, so I now have it wrapped around all four corners, and my screen image is on there. And guess what? When you flip it over, this will be the first time you can see what your screen will actually look like. And if you did it correctly, your image should read correctly, and so should your words. So this is how you know you've done it correctly. This is the point where we will screen from this angle. We'll put the ink here, and we're going to squeegee the ink to push it through the silk screen like a stencil. So that is your goal, to get that done by the end of the week. Thanks, everyone.